Yo, it's finally time, yo. I've been procrastinating and making this video for so long. It's probably been like 2, 3 months. I haven't been editing, touching any files, but new components came in, so I gotta finish this video. As you probably read in the title, this video is gonna be all about me making my first PC. Why build a PC? Well, I had a desktop for about a decade. Uh, my dad bought me this desktop for schoolwork mainly. But I found ways to play games on it. Really, just one game for for 10. I've been playing for like 10 years since it was in beta. And it was just time to let go, man. And over the time, I was started to being interested in 3D graphics and VFX. I wanted to always play AAA title games. Also, video editing was a hassle on the old desktop, so it was really time to let the old one go and focus on the future of my machine. But really, I wanted to build a PC because it was a project that will allow me to apply my knowledge that I've gained throughout my high school years. Because in high school I used to tinker with my old desktop, and if a fan or a component was not working, I would have to go fix it, right? So it never came to the point where I could actually spend my own money to buy parts and then actually build one. But now I got the money, so we finna build one. It took about 6 months of research and budgeting. I mean, I was watching YouTubers like PC Centric and Jay's 2 Cents and other content creators that focus on building PCs or whatever. I did so because I didn't want my first PC to have something go wrong with it, and the amount of money that I was going to spend on it, I didn't want to take the chance of that either. So the plan was to buy components on November. I mean, I got a job on January, so I was going to save up money until November and then buy all the parts because of I did some research, and it turns out that there's another day in the year where PC components are cheap and widely available, and that is usually in the middle of the year, and that's on Amazon Prime Day. See, when I heard that Amazon Prime Day has the best deals, I was in shock because it was a few weeks away. So I had to gather all my notes and finally finalize a build that I wanted. Oh, surely enough, the packages were rolling in. I bought them all. I got some good discounts. The packages started rolling in, but I was worried because it was handled by UPS or whatever, and for some reason I have this stigma that rough handling or whatnot. And there's other reasons why I think so too. I would have mentioned here, but everything turned out. Everything came in safe. So we lucked out on that, because imagine spending like hundreds of dollars on parts, and it comes messed up, and now you have to go return in and spend more time. But by the time all this happens, you may have run out of time in returning your other components that maybe didn't work, and you only found out after you build your PCs. So here we are going right into the unboxing. I slowly unboxed every one of these. I had to make sure that the package itself wasn't damaged. So some of these packages did come through Amazon, and some of them did come through UPS. The Amazon ones I wasn't worried about much. Okay, so here's the case fully out, and now here we are at the PSU, which is the power supply unit, which is at 1000 wattage, and it's also modular. Now we have the cooler. See, now cooling is important because the components I'm going to get and plan to get are going to run very hot, so I need efficient cooling. Air cooling wouldn't suffice alone. And it's also by Corsair, and RGB, I mean, come on, who can go wrong with that? And here we go, we have the SSDs and the RAM. So the SSDs, I went for 980 Pros instead of the 970, which was my first plan because it was cheap. It was $50 per terabyte. The DDR5 is to future-proof my system. And in this package, we got the AF120 fan, which is a single extra fan. I really didn't need it due to the air pressure in the setup that I have already, but I just want RGB, honestly. And the motherboard, the Prime Z790-a Wi-Fi. So there's going to be a list of the components on the screen, so you can
guess how much all this costs. I guess we can play that little game. But remember, I did get discounts on it. But you can see that there's a lot of brand synergy, and the reason why all these RGB have is from the same brand, because then it will be easier to control the RGB in one app. Because for every app, when every brand, you would have to get a new app. I meant so. But the case looks amazing. I mean, it's also from Corsair. The yellow, black. I mean, what can go wrong? I'll just do it. Alright, here we go. We're starting out with the motherboard, which is always the first step in creating your PC. You don't want to install your motherboard in the case and then start plugging in all the smaller components in, which is just a hassle. So you start outside of the case and onto the box. The motherboard itself came with a static wrap, and I heard it was wise to not build on top of that, but instead to build on top of the box. I mean, you'll probably see me touch a bunch of times off screen. Well, I'm basically touching my power supply to discharge any static. My room is has carpeting, and so I was wearing rubber, sandals to prevent any extra static to being accumulated. Here we are installing the CPU, which is a central processing unit. I decided to go for the i7-13700k, which is the not the highest at the moment, or nor is the lowest. It's like in between. So the i5-13600k was the lowest I would have gone in processing unit, which was a very good processor, but I wanted to go a little higher for multitasking capabilities. Here I am closing the door, which which secures the CPU. I did mess up though. I didn't really clamp down the cover, so I had to take it off slowly and then clamp it down. And you can see I'm being very slow and precise. I mean, this is my first time, and these parts are not cheap. I'm going to say that throughout the whole video. Alright, but the motherboard itself looks pretty nice. I mean, it's a white and black. I mean, I like this robotic, futuristic, kind of like iRobot feel. Here I am installing the DDR5, which is the RAM, and this is like this is a temporary temporary access memory. So random access memory. This it should click in fairly easy, but I was being too careful with it, so I just had to add a little bit more force, and it did click in. Now we're going to install the NVMe SSDs, which is the solid state, not solid state, sorry. Well, yeah, it is. The SSDs are solid state drives, right? I didn't realize how small these were. I mean, to fit a terabyte into something that small is probably like a finger length, and it's crazy. I mean, my old PC had like those big HD like hard drives, and this was refreshing. And also there had to be a cover there. I did take off the sticker, so there could be cooling. See, these parts get hot when just running normally. All right. So now here I am trying to post the motherboard. See, I decided to check if the motherboard works by connecting it to a monitor and a power supply. If it doesn't post, then I know the motherboard has an issue, or a component that I added onto it has an issue. But if I don't see any visuals here, it would have been a big problem. I would have to return the motherboard and hopefully get the next one would have been okay. The moment of truth. When is it coming? Come on. See, you could tell I was scared at this moment. And the monitor light turns on, and boom, we have posted. And then there was some warnings here and there. Since there was no cooler attached, yeah, I had to attach a cooler for to not overheat. So now, speaking about coolers, here we are unboxing the cooler itself. It comes with 3 RGB fans. I believe they're also AF120, same as the fan, the single fan. So that black block where all the all the fans are attached to is actually the radiator. Now here I am turning over the motherboard so I can install a bracket which would seat or which will allow me to seat the main unit of the cooler down. So now let's talk about the case. This case itself, I mean, was shockingly well built. Like, I did not expect this case to look this good. I mean, I've seen pictures and all, and you know those little graphics that the company makes, but you know, when you see it in person, it's actually quite big. This is the Corsair 5000D, I mean RGB Corsair 5000D airflow. So it has airflow and it comes with 3 RGB fans. I mean, come on. Here I am installing the power supply unit, so I had to disconnect it from the wall, and then now I'm installing it. Alright, now I've taken the glass panel off. I'm touching the power supply to discharge any static. Now I was inspecting the cables in the back and trying to understand where everything goes before I make any major decisions here. It is a lot of cables, and trust me, the cable management did not happen this build, so do not look forward to that at all. So I've already connected I've already installed the motherboard into the case, and now I'm just connecting the wires. That took a long time because a screw got stuck in the motherboard and I had to shake it out. I also used the wrong screws to attach to the case itself. That took another 30 minutes of my time. It's like, what, 9 screws? Here I am installing, connecting the cables that are the case cables. So like the power button, the restart button, and all that. Now I'm trying to see where all these things go. Again, it is a daunting thing. In those videos I mentioned, those channels I mentioned earlier, they're used to building stuff, so for them it was easy. But in practice, it's a lot more scary. Alright, so here I am installing, I don't know what I'm installing here. I think the SATA, yeah, I'm installing the SATA cables. And all these nodes and lighting cores or whatever, these control the lighting and the speed of the fans. You might ask why that's important. It's because you can determine the fan curve, so you can choose a more quiet setting, or a more performance-based setting, which would make it louder. I'm obviously going to choose quiet. Alright, so now we're going to install the single fan. The single fan had to be installed. This was a little bit finicky, like as in like I couldn't fully secure it, but then I eventually did, and then I routed the wire to the back and connected to those cores and commander cores or whatever. Alright, so now I'm installing the cooler itself. So I'm screwing down the radiator with the fans, and these fans, the way they're oriented is they're going to take the hot air from the case and push them out. And you know, hot air rises, right? It's because cold air is denser. So it rises, so it will be easier for it to escape from the top. So now here I'm trying to understand how this will go on, and also a big mistake of mine, I didn't buy thermal paste, and I wasn't going to do that. This time, I mean, it comes with thermal paste in the back, and I just have to bet on my first try. So that's why I'm being extra careful here. I'm routing the big thick cables to the back. Oh, here is the commander core, I believe is what it's called. More RGB connection, more fan control. That's all. That's all it is. Here I am trying to do some makeshift cable work, cable management. I mean, you see those shorts, YouTube shorts, where they boast about their cable management. I don't know how they do it. They got them zip ties. I ain't got those zip ties. And I'm not trying to get no zip ties, so I'm straight. They gave us, Corsair gave us some straps and a place to put our wires in. I mean, that's all I'm using. Now I'm just being scared and actually committing. At this stage, I finally committed, and now I'm just screwing it on tight, but not too tight because you don't want to break the actual motherboard. In diagonal patterns, obviously, you don't want to just screw one all the way in and then go around like that. You want to do diagonal. Boom, now this is pretty much almost done. I mean, everything that has to be installed is installed.
Alright, moment of truth! Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh!
And we got post, but there was something wrong. There was a CPU speed detection error. Also, if you look at the cooler right now, it's flashing red. It is not supposed to be flashing red.
It's going red.
The CPU is getting too hot. It's getting no cooling benefits at all from the cooler. That's a problem. When you overheat components, it lowers the longevity of the components. Well, thank God I caught it first. I mean, I wouldn't be able to enter my Windows, my PC at all. And then I tried again. I tried to see if it was just, I just had to restart. And what I was able to do is get into the BIOS. I got into BIOS to see if I could change that CPU fan speed detection error. And then eventually, all I had to do was go in the back. The wire that was attached to those nodes, those cores, was actually not all the way in. So all I had to do was take the back off and then push, make sure it was secure into the slot.
Brother, I was scared as a...
You fixed it! Wow! Show your face on the camera. Wow! Down there! Down there! No, this ain't no camera.
Oh.
Wow!
And there you go.
Close the lights.
We got
I
it.
see it in the dark.
And this is how it looks in the dark. And there you have it. I finally have my first PC, and I finally built my first PC. And so throughout all of this, I was worried, I was scared, I did a lot of research, and if I couldn't execute, then it would have been a problem. But I did eventually execute, and it hasn't been giving me any problems since. But you probably noticed that I'm missing a huge component of my PC, and there's a reason why. The component I'm trying to get is the So until then, I'm gonna see you guys later. All right. Have a good one.